Hi, long time no talk. It's been a minute, but I wanted to come on and chat with you guys because this is something that I have learned recently. Obviously, you guys know, well, if you didn't know, I'm in Europe right now. So I want to talk to you guys about Europe. If you're interested in my lipstick, I've actually talked about this one before. It is Dior Rouge 810. And then I coat it with Too Faced. It is Paid Off. So that's what I got going on here. Anyway, okay. So why am I talking about Europe right now? I am in Europe and there is a lot of talk about war here. Why are people talking about war now in Europe? It's because of what's happening in Russia with Ukraine. So Russia is a very powerful force, very large country compared to some of the other countries in Europe. Germany is also very big. I specifically am in Germany, but a lot of the other European countries are small. Maybe not like Britain, but also like the US spends a lot of money on the military. So like in terms of the world, I think the US military spending is like the largest of any country. So we have like the biggest military. And currently there are US troops in Europe, and currently the US is a part of NATO. So I'm just going to read this aloud because I had a question about it and I'm just going to read the answer. So, is Trump pulling American troops out of Europe? As of March 8th, 2025, President Donald Trump is contemplating a significant realignment of U.S. military forces in Europe. Specifically, he is considering withdrawing approximately 35,000 troops from Germany and potentially redeploying them to Eastern European nations, including Hungary. This potential shift stems from President Trump's ongoing dissatisfaction with European NATO allies, particularly Germany, regarding their defense spending. He has consistently criticized these nations for not meeting the NATO defense expenditure target of 2% of their gross domestic product, or GDP. In recent statements, President Trump has proposed increasing this target to 5% of GDP and has suggested that the U.S. might reconsider its defense commitments to allies that do not meet these spending thresholds. So he wants them to increase the spending in NATO. Hungary has emerged as a focal point in this discussion due to its unique position within the European Union. As a recent emergency EU summit in Brussels, Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban vetoed a collective commitment to bolster support for Ukraine, a move that aligned with Hungary's historically close ties to Russia. This action has further strained relations between Hungary and other EU member states. The potential redeployment of U.S. troops from Germany to Hungary would mark a significant shift in NATO's strategic posture in Europe. Germany has long been a central hub for U.S. military operations on the continent, hosting a substantial number of American forces since the end of World War II. Relocating these troops could have wide-ranging implications for NATO, NATO's deterrence capabilities, and the overall security architecture of Europe. It's important to note that this is not the first time President Trump has proposed reducing U.S. military footprint in Germany. During his first term, he ordered the withdrawal of nearly 12,000 troops from Germany, citing similar concerns over defense spending and spending disparities. However, that plan was later halted by the subsequent administration. As of now, no official decision has been announced regarding the current proposal, and the situation remains fluid, with ongoing discussions within the U.S. administration and amongst NATO allies about the potential implications of such a redeployment. Okay, I'm going to ask one more question. Do you guys know what NATO is? NATO is the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. It's a military alliance established in 1949 to provide collective defense against external threats. It was founded by 12 countries, including the United States, Canada, and several Western European nations, in response to the growing influence of the Soviet Union, or Russia now, after World War II. Key features of NATO. Collective defense. The most important principle of NATO is that an attack on one member is considered an attack on all. This has only been invoked once after the 9/11 attacks in 2001. Current membership. NATO has expanded to 31 member countries, including nations from Eastern Europe that were once part of the Soviet sphere. The main purpose, originally aimed at deterring Soviet aggression during the Cold War, NATO now focuses on global security, crisis management, and counterterrorism. Recent developments. Since Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022, NATO has increased military aid to Eastern European members and strengthened its defensive posture. I just want to know, who are the current members of NATO? So the current members include Belgium, Canada, Denmark, France, Iceland, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Norway, Portugal, United Kingdom, United States, Greece, Turkey, Germany, Spain, Czech Republic, Hungary, Poland, Bulgaria, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Romania, Slovakia, Slovenia, Albania, Croatia, Montenegro, North Macedonia, Finland, and Switzerland. Germany joined NATO as West Germany in 1955. Okay, so you might be like, okay, great. So what does that have to do with everything moving forward? Yeah. So basically, Russia is fucking huge. And what Russia is doing with Ukraine, it's taking territory. And it looks like it's going to get a pretty large piece. If you've seen some of the maps that have gone around into what they've currently occupied, it's a big-ass piece of Ukraine. And they're not going to stop with Ukraine. Russia, which was once the Soviet Union, is going to come for more because Russia's just huge and it's been trying to take over Europe for a very long time. So they're going to go for small countries. It sounds like France has a pretty big military. Germany has a pretty big one. But all those other countries, Slovenia, Slovakia, Russia can pretty easily take them. And if the U.S. pulls out of NATO, there's no other really large European or military forces. And so that's why Europe, they just had this big meeting in Brussels to try to understand what's going on, what they could do to up their military defenses. Now, should we care? I don't know. No, really, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know personally, I've never been that invested in European affairs. It's not my business to an extent, and I kind of don't understand European history that interesting. I think there are some really beautiful countries here though, to explore for tourism and things like that, visa purposes. It's just something that's continued to come up for the last few days, so I just wanted to talk about it. Because it seems like people would probably, I had questions about it, so I went to look it up. But I'm other people probably also have questions about this, so I'm gonna talk about it. Does anyone else know about NATO or pay attention to NATO or really have questions about what's going on in Europe? Is anyone else paying attention to what's going on in Europe? Seriously.